Alright, I guess this is going to be the intro to the new video. We've gotten everything home. I think you've seen the big news for us. It's huge. But we're going to be doing a little bit different racing this week, or this year. This week, it looks like we're going to take this car to practice. So that's what this video is going to be. We're going to go practice this car up at All-Tech. It's a big, fast half mile up in Lake City, about an hour and a half from us, but it's kind of a middle point for myself and Tyler Orzakowski. He's wanting to get his motor tuned up. He had some issues on his practice night. We think it's either spark plugs or a mag, so hopefully it's a very simple fix for him. Russ wants us to get a little bit of seat time in this car and get it comfortable. All-Tech's a fast place just like Volusia, which will be our first race of the season. So we are going to get some seat time. My buddy Mark, who y'all have seen in a lot of these videos, is going to be coming up here Saturday. We're going to kind of go through this car. I'm going to get ready to strip it down because I need to get my seat in this car, and then we'll buy another seat to put in the other car, the Top Gun car, so that I don't have to do a bunch of swapping around, and I have the same seat in each car. So all I got to do is take my insert from one to the other and we'll be good to go. So this car, nothing looks any different than it did from the last video. It's a holiday season. We are swamped. I'm sure by the time you see this car again, the wing will be off of it. The stickers will probably be gone. And hopefully there'll be a seat in it. We're gonna start pulling all the panels off, get the hood off, kind of get this thing stripped down to, go through the fuel system, just double check, make sure everything's fine. I'm waiting to get some of the information from Chris Moss on where I need to be setting everything at and where I should start. It looks like it's going to be freezing cold on Sunday, which it'll probably be freezing cold in January at Volusia. So it'll give us the time to adjust the motor and see if it's and go the right way. I wasn't doing videos at the beginning of the year when we had a super cold night at East Bay, and I tuned the motor the complete opposite way because I didn't understand how good cold air was, because I live in Florida and cold air is not good to me, but it is good for a motor. So I tuned it the wrong way, but it ended up being a night that we broke a couple valve springs, so we thought we were chasing a fuel issue, but it ended up being valve springs anyways. But I'm gonna get to work. I don't know how much I'll get done. I'll have to call the wife out here in a little bit and help me get this wing off of here so I don't drop it, and go from there. I'm really excited for this year. I think we've been racing with Top Gun for 14 years, on and off. I would say we've ran, other than 2016 where we took some time off to get ready, and then we came back and blew up and killed us for the rest of the year. We've probably ran 75% of the races or more in the last 10 years. So it's going to be a big change for us. It's something we're excited for. We want to try new places. If we want to race versus all the fast guys. We want to see where we stack up, all that good stuff. So I think with myself not racing as much, and there's a little bit of talks of some other guys that might not be racing as much with Top Gun this year, that the landscape of Top Gun is really going to change. I think you're going to see some of these younger kids come in and start shining. You got Dustin Bertrand, who's really wanting to come through. You have David Kelly, who I hope races more next year. If I can, maybe something happens and I can help him out and get to the racetrack or do something, maybe that can happen, because I think that kid's going to be good. I don't think he's like I used to be. Never really had the greatest stuff, just good enough to do what we do down here, and he's always outperformed what he's in. I really like seeing that kid drive. Hopefully some of these mini sprint guys will finally step up and stop being trapped in that world and say that it's too expensive to come racing with us, but then they spend like our whole budget going to race in Tulsa and like one or two races up north. Now they do get to race at some pretty big badass shows, so that's cool for them, but it'd be nice to see some of these younger kids coming up through. I know there's a kid named Allard Rains. I think he's like 13 or 14 that's gonna be starting off with us next year. There's another kid that bought a car that raced like two of the last couple races with us. I don't know his name, but I know he just bought a really good motor. It's good to see a little bit of youth coming up into it to replace some of us guys that aren't going to be, you know, the guys that are there week in and week out. So it's really cool to see that. I think some of the guys that haven't raced as much that the last few years that are pretty good, you know, some decent veterans, those guys will feel like they have a better shot. You know, when you got some of them guys, I mean, I get my teeth kicked in and week out versus them. But some of these guys are just bad fast, man. They need to be somewhere else. We just don't have that type of racing in Florida. If you hadn't seen David Gravel's video, you should probably check that out. He had some very, very valid points. But, you know, all we have is Top Gun. So everybody is in it. And I feel like when new guys try to come race with us, they're like, oh, it's easy. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to go spend all this money. And I'm going to be dominant. And I'm going to be fast and win. And then they show up and just get their teeth kicked in for a year. And it just demoralizes them. And instead of working on themselves, they usually blame that people are cheating or this or that, and they quit. And, you know, guys like me, I mean, I've only really gotten where I'm at in the last few years. I've been driving a Top Gun Sprint for 14 years. You know, Tyler Clem has been racing his whole life, and he's been in a sprint car since he was like 13, and he's 20. You got Danny Martin, who's been racing since he was like 14, and he's around my age, and he's raced with the World of Outlaws and all this other stuff. You got AJ, who's a third generation racer. I mean, he grew up around this. And you got Matt Kurtz, who did a lot of traveling young in his career. You have Garrett Green, who's been racing forever. I mean, when you racing versus these guys week in and week out, you gotta earn it honestly. So I think some of that is going to go away, and then you're going to have guys that'll start finishing a little bit better because some people are gone, and it'll build their confidence. They're going to get more track time. They're going to get faster. And then when we come back to do a few races a year, that, you know, them guys are going to be faster. They're going to be hard to beat. And that's what Florida sprint car racing needs. We need more variety of racing to be able to push the class, not just a series. So I'm really hopeful that all of that is happening. I'm glad to see some of these young kids come through. You should follow Dustin's channel. I didn't even mention Tyler. He's going to be running full-time next year as long as everything goes good. He's been pulling his hair out, if you can't tell, that he's had a stressful year. But I think Top Gun's going to have a really good year. The landscape's going to change. I think they're going to put on some really good racing. We're going to show you a bunch of new racing for us. I'm really excited. I think we can have some fun, and we're not going to set the world on fire, but I think they'll know that we're there. So, but anyways, I'm done talking for tonight. I'm going to work on the car. I'm going to make it look less like somebody else's car and make it look like nobody's car, really. It'll just be black. And start working on getting this seat out so that I can get everything ready for this weekend. It's our last week until Christmas, so we gotta make sure we take care of those priorities as well. So until tomorrow or the next night I'm out here. All right, it is Saturday. Man, this week has really flown by. You see Mark's good side here. We are watching the DeCoin race, getting ready. You're sending a B main on the track, it looks like. We are getting ready to pull the seat out of this car. I did not get it here like I wanted to. We're going to go through all of the bypasses and everything and check our gauges versus what they were set. This motor was dynoed by Chris Moss, so we know everything is where it's supposed to be. Unless it's way off, then we know something changed. That was Mark tripping. But we're going to go through everything, write everything down, make sure that we know where it's supposed to be and it's right in the right place on the gauges that we have. So that's it. We're just going to do some minor setup stuff, get it ready for All-Tech tomorrow. He's brought his weather station. Ours will be here soon. And because we're going to have to tune this motor a little bit. Seems like it's going to be really cold tomorrow, which sucks for us Florida guys. So there's the Peruvian Outlaw Wrenchman. We're going to crew chief right now. He's going to make sure like I said, we talked about, he's going to make sure I get up to speed as fast as I can so we can get out on the road and have a lot of fun. So, see how far we get tonight. Alright, so last night we got the seat in the car. We went through some fuel stuff. We still got to do some more. We fitted a body panel. I had to trim a body panel after we put the seat belts in. So we just got very minimal stuff to do and fire it up. It's cold in Florida. Most of my family in Ohio watch this. You wish you were here. I'm wearing shorts still, even though it's chilly. But we just got a little bit of stuff to do, and we'll be firing this thing off. Alright, we got a little bit more room in the shop right now. Car's loaded in the trailer. That was fun to watch. We probably should have recorded that with Ashley getting in and out of the car and loading it up, because she wanted to practice it like we do it at the track. She didn't want me and Mark doing it. She wanted to drive it in because I always pull her in with the side-by-side. So that was a good time. Unfortunately, you'll never see it, so just trust us. Car sounded awesome. Nice little crackle to this thing. So I'm pretty excited to get this thing to the track, let Mark see if all his adjustments in the car feel like he thinks it should feel, and then get a few sessions under my belt as well. So we're getting ready to leave the house, head to Lake City. It's about an hour and a half away from us, and you should see some on-track action here soon. All right, we have made it to All-Tech. Wendell and them are getting the track all ran in and getting it ready for us. We're an hour early. Figured we'd get ready and get everything ready in the parking lot if needed, because it's getting cold here tonight. So we want to be ready to hit the track as fast as possible, get everything figured out, and get back on the road, because we go to work in the morning. So, but here's All-Tech. There's Mark. There's the other corner. Be on the track here soon. All right, it's about that time. The hot dog bandits are here. Check out, get their car going on. So we're about ready to get this going on. I'm sure if you watch Orr Zakowski's video, he will have their own little setup of everything getting ready. Usually pretty funny guys, so you should check it out. Great looking car.
Listen, there's no hot dogs here today. I don't think. Did you bring any?
That's your fault.
I know.
You're the hot dog guy.
I know.
He's got a hot dog suit and everything.
I let this whole operation down. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's your fault. So, it should be a good time with these guys. Always is. We got a great looking car. Me and the owner, the other guy in the bright shirt, we actually did this car. We have a small video of it like a few months back. So check it out too. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. We need all of it to keep expanding this channel as we enjoy this new venture this coming season. So Russ is on his way. He's gonna check this out. Wendell says the track's about ready. They're out there making some laps. He's right there, you can barely see him. And we're getting ready to put some motor heat in this thing and go from there. All right, so track is bad fast in 1 and 2, and it's fast getting into 3, and slick getting off 4. So we made a couple adjustments on the car. I'm gonna go out one more time and just put a little bit of heat in it, get it up to RPM, run a couple laps, and pack it all up and get back to the house.
Run 20 laps to get some heat in it.
That night's over. A little bit longer than what I would have liked it to be. Did a lot of talking at the end. You know me, kissing babies. I talk too much, but it's all right. We had a good night. Got to see the car run. Got a little bit more comfortable at speed. All-Tech is a tough track, man. You got a lot of speed in there, and you really got to hustle the corner. So I left a little bit of time on the table. I didn't get too risky, and had a good little test session. We got Mark got 1 session, and then I did 2. So now we prepare for Speed Week. We'll get the car ready for Volusia, and hopefully all goes well. Car's fast, motor pulls really good. I mean, I don't really know any better right now. I've never drove something like that. So it was strong, felt good. Car was pretty comfortable. It's just me kind of catching up to the speed of the car. So great test session. That'll be the last of these kinds of things for this year. Next week is Christmas, and then we move on to 2023 very fast.